Do you want to control your spending and save as much as you can, even on a low income?
Well, you clicked on the wrong video, keep scrolling.
Yes, of course, you've come to the right place. Where by the end of the video, I hope you'll be able to fully take control of your income and show you lot how I've managed to save over £20,000 this past year in my low pay job just by doing these simple things. If you're new here, my name's Ben. I make videos on investing in the stock market and now overall financy stuff. Like I say in all my videos, I'm not a financial advisor, so 100% do not take any advice, especially from a 19-year-old behind a screen. And my link is in the description to make an account with Trading212 to potentially get a share worth up to £100. Anyways, let's get into the video. So the first very simple thing that you want to go ahead and do is just track your monthly spending. The same applies when tracking your income, but I know for the majority of people that are watching this, or if this applies to you, I know that your sole income is your low income job or just your part-time job in general. Even in the littlest of things, for example, any meal deals you've bought, any costas you've bought, your phone bill, your car bills, anything like that, all you need to do is simply just jot them down somewhere. I just simply use these two diaries, one for being work related and how much I earn from it as well as my hours, and there's one being for everything that I spend even on the daily. As soon as you know what you're spending your money on and where your money is going every month, you can soon be able to cut down on those little things, whether or not you're overspending in certain areas or you're paying for a certain bill that you don't even need to be paying for anymore. I believe this first step is so crucial in actually setting yourself up to be able to save more every month. Once you understand where your money is actually going every month, it's a huge eye-opener, and if you want to cut back in certain areas, you have to be so brutal with yourself and ask yourself whether or not this is actually worthwhile you spending this money. The second simple thing on the list to help you save more money is just to stop buying random things that you don't need that you're probably just going to use once. Really what I mean by this is, for example, when you go on Amazon and you see the best deals now or whatever it comes up, and you think it's a really good deal, then you're getting a good offer for it. However, do you actually need it? Whatever that useless thing might be. For example, when I first got my car, I thought it'd be sick to just completely not pimp it out, but get a load of things for my car. For example, I got this magnet to go on the back to put your phone on the front of the car. Used it once, never used it again. Like, it was the most useless thing I've ever had. I know it was only a £5, but I bought loads of little things. I think I spent about 50 quid. It's just 50 quid I've chucked away and it's had no use to me. And things like this, like, why did we actually buy these? Literally just random little things that are not going to affect your day-to-day life and that you're just going to use once, chuck them away. Literally anything like that, just stop buying them. When I say you've got to be brutal with yourself, like, I mean it. I don't mean go to extremes and you're just living on the ropes and you've got like a penny to your name. But I'm just saying you just got to be really frugal with your money. And I'll just leave this up here, what I mean by frugal. Similar to the previous point, the next simple thing on the list is just to cut down on buying luxury items. And when I'm talking about luxury items, I'm not talking about iced out Rolexes and chains and iced out Dogecoin chains. I'm talking about the items that you might want, but you don't need. For any of you lot that have studied economics, you can probably relate to the term luxury good, whereby it's essentially a good that you might want, but you don't necessarily need to have. A great example of this would be probably alcohol. A lot of us want alcohol, okay, but it's not necessarily something that we actually need. A lot of you are probably just sitting there behind the screen thinking,
yeah, Ben, we need alcohol. Like, we're sitting in lockdown, there's nothing to do.
Alright, but can you see where I'm coming from? Even things like buying coffee. Like, I love coffee and I have it every day, but I always make it at home. I would never go out and buy a coffee. And a lot of people have said that the whole market of that is just way overpriced. Not mentioning any names. But it is true, even when I really fancy a coffee, I know I could save so much money, especially if I'm having one every day, if I just made it at home, or I'm lucky enough just to make it in the staff room when I'm at work. So these next 2 points that I'm going to say are very similar to one another, but I want to go through them individually. So the next simple thing on the list is just to stop buying expensive designer clothes, or in general just stop buying loads of clothes altogether. This is really something I've only come to terms with in this past year, as I really do like some of my designer clothes. However, this whole time I've been completely blind to actually the amount of money you spend and waste on clothes. A lot of you may be sitting there and thinking that you really like your designer clothes, but in reality we're talking about saving money here, and like I said, you have got to be brutal on yourself, and when I mean brutal, you cannot buy designer clothes. I will give you lot a challenge now. If you go ahead and watch all of my previous videos, come back and tell me and comment on this video if one video out of all of them I'm wearing anything designer other than my watch, because that doesn't count, then come back here and rip me in the comments, because I guarantee you I know I'm just wearing plain clothes. A couple months ago I did a big shop on ASOS and literally just got loads of ASOS branded clothes, this one being one of them, all at an affordable price, and they still look fairly decent. As we do all need clothes, but you can save a lot when it comes to what clothes you're just choosing to buy. If you go and Google the richest people in the world, and I'm including the likes of Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all of them lot, and you look at them and see what clothes they're wearing, and you come back here and tell me if they're actually wearing anything designer, because I bet you they're just wearing non-branded plain clothes, because at the end of the day they're the ones that are smart of their money, and they know that you don't have to actually buy designer clothes to actually look good, as they can easily afford any designer piece that they want in the world. But they don't, because in the back of their heads they know that they don't need designer clothes, and a 20 quid jumper on ASOS will do them. Now and then I'd probably still wear some of my designer clothes, but for the meantime I'm just not buying any more. A lot of them are actually still fit me, and I kind of like to think that I buy clothes to actually own for a long time and make the most out of them. Again, just to try and cut down on how much I'm actually spending every month, and just in general stop buying more clothes altogether. And another thing to help you stop buying loads of clothes, get clothes that you think are going to last you a long time. I'm all for it if you spend that extra bit of money just for something that's really durable. For example, coats last a long time, and if you buy a coat that you're going to have potentially for like 10 years, and if you feel like it's going to last you a longer time just by spending that little bit extra, then by all means do that. Kind of relating to being a financial minimalist, which I'll put a definition up here, of whereby you don't really own many things and that everything you do pretty much own is durable and lasts for a long time. I'm sort of getting off on a tangent here, but if I did have to compare anything for this scenario, and I've mentioned his name a lot on the channel, is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has used the same desk his whole life. He could go out and easily afford a new desk, but he's chosen not to because he knows he's bought one that he's going to use for life. Why would he waste his money on getting the same thing that still works? Anyways, enough of that, there's time for the next point. The next simple thing on the list to help you save money is just to stop buying things to flex. What is the point in buying something just to show off to other people? And if you're wondering, everything that I'm wearing here were all presents to me, so I didn't go out and buy this stuff, alright?
Seriously, they actually were all presents for me.
Those sort of things I am talking about, but it's not the main thing I want to be talking about. In my eyes, the most common thing that people buy to flex on other people or just to impress other people is their car. I personally drive a Fiat Punto and she's beautiful. Now, in all seriousness, my car isn't bad, it does the job, and I'm especially pleased with it as it only cost me £500. I have actually done a full breakdown video on my £500 car in this video here. A lot of people just buy cars just on the fact that they're actually just trying to show off of what they can buy. Similar to the branded clothes situation where people are into clothes as they are their cars, and I totally get that. Like, I know people that spend all their money on their car, but for me and for some of you lot that literally just see it as a way to get from A to B, just don't spend a load of money on it. I know they can come across expensive, and especially if you're around my age and the insurance might be high, and especially if you crash your first car, which I definitely didn't do, then yes, you're probably paying out a small fortune for your car. But obviously over time this does go down with your no claims discount and things like that. But for the meantime, you still can cut down what you spend on your car, as well as how much you actually buy the car for in general. Especially when you're in your first couple of years driving, you definitely do not need a flashy car. Like, mine's got an ugly stripe going down the middle of it, and it's got a badge missing on the back of it. But does it stop me from getting to work? No. Basically what I'm trying to say is, get a cheap, reliable car if you need it. If you don't even need a car, then great. I mean, I probably wouldn't own a car if everyone I knew was walking distance from me and I could either bike or walk to work. But it's just another one of those things where a lot of people tend to spend so much money on, and they just really don't have to. Even the littlest things where you could potentially get to somewhere where you could walk over driving, and things like filling up a full tank so you haven't got to go and waste more fuel going to and from a garage. Just like tiny little things, they will all build up, especially when you're talking about on a monthly basis. Just in general, what I'm getting at is that people can waste a fortune on cars, and most of the time they really don't need to. And the last thing that I'm going to be going through on the list to help you save money every month is just to take advantage of your current situation. As for myself, I'm very much grateful that I've managed to keep my job throughout the whole of the pandemic, and I haven't had that risk of potentially losing my job. And I'm very sorry to hear if any of you that have actually lost any of your jobs due to the pandemic. But like I said, if you're fortunate to have a stable income throughout the pandemic, then now is a really good time that you could be saving any money that you probably would have spent on going on nights out, going for meals, going for days out, whatever it is. All that extra money, instead of spending it on Amazon, instead of thinking you've got more money to spend, think that you've got more money to save. And even better, more money to invest. Or likewise, use this extra time in lockdown to learn a new skill to potentially help you make more money or make another stream of income, as any extra income source is obviously beneficial to help you save up more in the long run. But especially when referring to having a low income job, whether or not it be in retail for example, like myself, I get employee discount on whatever I get, and I work in foods, so take advantage of it. I majority shop of where I work just because I know I can get really good discount. I'm making the most of my job and helping out myself and my family getting cheaper food through me. So those are some of the simple steps I've taken to save over £20,000 this past year. But we're a finance channel, so I'm completely transparent when it comes to my financial situation, so I'm going to share it with you guys in the ins and outs of how I've actually managed to do this. So from this past year, from my low income job, I've roughly earned about £800 to £1,300 every month, rounding up to a total of around £13,500 for the previous tax year. As for what I actually spend every month, my car being the most, coming in at around £190, so that £190 a month, so be it, would be a car insurance, fuel and the road tax on the car. Mainly due to the high insurance that I have to pay, obviously with the car accident. So I don't actually lose £100 from car insurance every month, but that's what it would come down to if I did have to pay monthly for it. I then pay £10 a month for Spotify, £10 a month for my phone bill as I bought my phone outright. I pay £30 a month for my gym membership, which is quite a lot considering in the past I've always just gone to cheap gyms, but I make the most of the gym when it's not in lockdown, so I make the most of my money anyways. And that is it. And then after that I leave £100 a month to spend on whatever else I like. Or I look at it as £50 a week. This majority includes food and when I'm going out. As before lockdown, £50 is probably about right as what I would spend over the course of a week including going out. But this also does include me buying food for my family. But a lot of you may be thinking,
But Ben's not paying any rent, he's living with his mum. His mum's letting him live rent free.
the agreement that I have with my mum is that I pay for food as and when we need it, and I get it through my job, so that way it helps me out, but then she's also benefiting from the food. But I know I am very fortunate to not have to pay rent, but this isn't going to continue. I will be probably paying some sort of rent depending on what I'm doing in the near future. As I previously mentioned, it is really good to save money, but you could do one better and actually invest your money. I try and hit a goal to invest £1,000 every month, and roughly I have been doing so over this past year. So with my 13 paychecks in the year, as 1 month I get an extra one, I've roughly invested £13,000 over this past year, as well as my previous savings, which was roughly about £1,500 before this. And it works out to be quite accurate, as I've roughly deposited around £14,600 of my own money. I've then gone on to leverage my money and see a return of about 50% including my current investments, of which including a locked in profit of around £6,000 that has inevitably got me to the position of having over £20,000 saved up. Overall, if you really want to save as much as possible, you're going to have to live well within your means. And when you can, potentially invest your money so that your money is actually giving you a really good return for actually going through the effort of saving it up in the first place. After this, it's just a process of repeating these steps and being consistent every month. By consistently being able to save a certain amount every month and investing as and when you can, you will soon see your money building up. And soon one day you will look back at your notepad where you said you'd keep track of your earnings and your expenditures every month, And at that point, you'll be able to see how much money you've actually managed to save up over that period of time. And potentially one day, even live off the amount of money you're able to save up. Anyways, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos like this, then let me know in the comments, or you can DM me at my socials. They'll all be in the description below. If you left a like and dropped a sub to help out the channel, I'd be greatly appreciated. Anyways, I'll see you lot in the next one. In a bit.